Princess Beatrice had always lived just beyond the brightest spotlight, close enough to feel its warmth, yet far enough to believe she might escape its burn. But that illusion began to fade the moment her father, Prince Andrew, stepped into that now infamous interview. What was meant to be a defense became something far more damaging, and while the world dissected every word, Beatrice quietly absorbed the consequences. There were whispers that she had played a role in arranging the interview, a decision that would haunt her as its fallout spread far beyond the palace walls. In the days that followed, the weight of public scrutiny became impossible to ignore. Appearances were no longer just formalities, they became silent statements. At a private celebration meant to mark joy and new beginnings, Beatrice reportedly struggled to hold herself together. The expectation to remain composed clashed with the reality of a deeply personal crisis unfolding in full public view. It was in these moments, away from official duties, that the true cost of royal association revealed itself, not in headlines, but in quiet, human vulnerability. Loyalty to family is rarely simple, and for Beatrice, it became a delicate balancing act. Her bond with her parents remained unshaken, yet the world around her demanded distance. Behind closed doors, conversations were no longer about tradition or duty, but about survival, emotional, reputational, and personal. Her mother, Sarah Ferguson, began to express a desire for change, hinting at the possibility of a life no longer defined by the past. Beatrice found herself caught in the middle, wanting peace for both her parents while understanding the fragile dynamics at play. Supporting her mother's hopes for the future came with an unspoken concern, how her father might respond and how it would all be perceived. It was no longer just about family unity, but about navigating a path forward without deepening old wounds. In many ways, Beatrice appeared more aware than most of how perception shapes reality within royal life. Despite the turbulence surrounding her family, there were those within the royal circle who seemed determined to protect Beatrice from complete fallout. Invitations extended by senior members of the monarchy carried more meaning than mere courtesy. They were signals, subtle gestures that suggested she was still valued, still trusted, still part of something larger than the controversy that threatened to define her. Yet even these moments of inclusion came with quiet pressure. Every appearance, every absence was interpreted. To stand beside the monarchy was to reaffirm loyalty. To step away risked speculation. Beatrice had to navigate not only her own emotions, but the expectations of an institution that thrives on unity. In a world where perception often outweighs truth, her presence alone could shift narratives, whether she intended it or not. Just as stability seemed within reach, new controversies emerged, subtle at first, then impossible to ignore. Decisions that might have once passed unnoticed were now scrutinized under a harsher lens. An appearance in a distant country, a connection to influential circles, even a simple gathering could spark debate. For Beatrice, the margin for error had all but disappeared. There were growing concerns within royal circles about the potential risks tied to her associations, particularly those that echoed her father's past dealings. Conversations reportedly turned toward oversight, toward ensuring that no misstep, intentional or not, could reignite public criticism. It was a sobering reality. Even independence required approval, and even good intentions could be misinterpreted. And yet, despite everything, there remained a sense that Beatrice's story was not one of downfall, but of endurance. New roles and responsibilities hinted at a future still unfolding, one shaped not only by her past, but by the choices she would make moving forward. Opportunities to rebuild, to redefine her place within the royal framework began to appear, though not without skepticism. Behind the scenes, negotiations and compromises suggested that her future had, in part, been secured through difficult conversations. Whether seen as a second chance or a strategic decision, the outcome was the same. Beatrice remained, not untouched by scandal, but not consumed by it either. In the end, her journey reflects something far more universal than royalty. It is the story of navigating loyalty and identity under pressure, of carrying a legacy that is both privilege and burden. And as the world continues to watch, one question lingers quietly in the background. Can she truly step out of the shadow, or will it always follow just close enough to remind her of where she came from?